Welcome to Screen to Speed Drivers Edition, where we sit down and talk with the women participating in the Screen to Speed competition. So, what exactly is Screen to Speed? Well, Screen to Speed is an all-women sim racing competition developed for women by women that seeks to create a pipeline to bring more women into motorsports from sim racing. So, how does it work, you might ask? It's simple. The competition is open to all women worldwide. First, you have to meet the qualifier, where it's not just your skills on the sim track, but how you engage your community that will determine your overall rank. From there, the top 20 women from the online racing qualifier will go to Las Vegas to compete in the IRL competition during the Pennzoil 400 event. The winner of this event will have the opportunity to seat in a Kelly Moss Porsche race car and a chance to show off her skill in real life. Drivers also have the opportunity to win $15,000 in a next level sim racing rig. So without any further ado, let's bring on our guest today, Saoirse Fitzpatrick. Hey Saoirse, how's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good.
That's great. Well, first I want to just welcome you and thank you for being a part of the Screen to Speed series and being able to be open and sharing, your experience in this interview.
Mhm.
So, first, want to start out as I always do with all these interviews is where are you interviewing from? Since this is a worldwide event, I'm sure you're somewhere in the world.
Yeah, I'm interviewing from Dublin in Ireland at the moment.
Nice.
So I'm quite a ways away from Vegas, but I'm sure there are people further out afield
Yes,
that'll
yes.
be making it.
Yes. And with that being said, my first question to you is how did you get your start in sim racing?
I got my start in sim racing primarily with like the Formula One games. I think it was initially F1 2017 that I was playing on the PlayStation
Okay.
with a control, like just with a controller. And then kind of as sim racing started to become something that was more like in the public eye on like YouTube and online and things. I got myself my first wheel, which was a Logitech G29, if I remember right, and then just mounted it to my desk and started driving in the F1 games. So that was probably about 2018 or so.
Okay.
And then I just kind of slowly moved towards more simulator focused games, like going to the Assetto Corsa and then Or Factor 2, and eventually making it to iRacing, where this competition is being hosted.
Yes.
But as well, I've dabbled in like the rally games and like ACC. I briefly tried Richard Burns Rally, but I wasn't very good at it.
Okay. Okay. Now, I mean, it sounds to me that you have made quite the journey in, what, about 5 years? And
Yeah.
and not just the journey, but you have literally moved your way up the leaderboard, which we will get into later. But you are not an amateur by no means. Would you say that?
Um, I think you might be overselling me just a little bit. I would say I'm probably an intermediate driver, though I might be being a little bit too humble.
I think just a tad bit too humble.
Maybe just a little bit. I will admit that much.
Okay, all right. Now, something that's an interesting fact is that you are a sim racer, but you're a
Mhm.
sim racer without a driver's license. What's that like?
It's kind of funny because I'm awful at finding the bite point on a real car, like on the clutch. I'm just absolutely terrible at it.
Hmm.
Like so bad, in fact, that I decided like real life cars aren't for me. I'm gonna go for motorbikes instead.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so yeah, my first time on a motorbike was today.
Oh, congrats. How was it?
It was kind of scary at first, but you kind of get used to it. It's a lot easier than driving a car, I think.
Help me. I'm
Which
curious.
like
Tell
how
me.
like
Yes.
how
Tell
it's
me how.
easier?
Yes, because I've
Um,
I've been on a bike, and I think the coordination that you need to ride a bike is a lot different than the coordination for a car.
I
I I
mean,
I say.
okay, the like mechanics of riding a bike is kind of similar to riding a like bicycle, a push bike,
Yes.
like in terms of like turning and the balance that you need and kind of the non-intuitive thing of you need to actually be moving forwards to keep your balance, and if you go too slow, you're going to lose it.
Right.
But also when you start letting out the clutch on a bike, you can feel it more when you start to move. And I
Okay.
think I think it's also a little bit more forgiving, where the engine tends to bog down,
Okay.
as well. There's a bit more give, before the engine just cuts out and you stall. Which isn't to say I didn't stall. Stall about 6 or 7 times. But it was a good experience. I'm really looking forward to getting my own bike.
Nice, nice. Can I ask, do you what was the CC on the bike that you rode? Do you remember?
There was 3 different ones. I rode a 50, 125, and a 350.
Okay. Oh, how was the 350?
Easier than the 125,
Interesting. Interesting.
genuinely.
All right. Well, this is not a motorbike show, so
Yeah, this isn't a motorbike
let's
show.
talk
This is a
cars.
sim racing show.
All right, so let's get into it. I love we see you playing the sim, so we're gonna take a look at that right now. But please tell us, how did you find your way into screen to speed? What got you interested?
um, well, I think initially what got me interested was it was mentioned to me by a mutual friend,
Okay.
like a teammate, on the team that I drive for. But we can get into that in a bit.
Yes, we are.
And yeah, but the overall idea of like a women's only sim racing event,
Mhm.
was really interesting to me because it's not like, other than more female racers on ACC, there's not really much that, puts women to the forefront in this community, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
we are also like in the very severe minority in this community. There's
Yes.
not very many. Well, yeah, I don't think it's untrue to say there aren't that many really women, doing sim racing, especially not proportionally, to the number of people that do sim racing on the whole.
Hmm.
So an event for just women was really compelling. And then, like, as well, the opportunity to go to Vegas and compete in this like in real life event that'll be broadcasted with all this, support behind it from the automotive industry and motorsports, like real life motorsports itself,
Yes.
was really exciting because I've never actually competed in an event on this kind of level.
Okay.
Um, I've done some reserve driving in high level leagues, but that's kind of it. So this as like a solo entry will be my biggest, event. And like the prospect of being involved in that was really, really exciting.
Nice. Nice. Now, you said something that was very poignant, which is that like this event is really groundbreaking and that like is really creating opportunities for women. And one of the things
Mhm.
that I want to mention is that there are some big names behind this event that are sort of laying that foundation to ensure
Oh
that
yeah.
women are able to get an opportunity in racing. And so,
Hmm.
of course, we have Pennzoil, and we have Ford, and we have Init Esports
Hmm.
behind this. And I would love to get your thoughts and your opinions about like how do you feel about these organizations that are really putting their name on the line and really wanting to support getting more women in racing.
I really honestly respect the amount of effort that's been put into some, screen to speed. Just the amount of work that it must take to, kind of coordinate all the sponsors and all of the technical design and like the logistics work as well of getting people to the event and organizing the event and all this. Like it's so much work, and like the sponsors like Pennzoil and Ford and Yahoo and Esports, all of them are really doing something that's quite admirable, to put women to the forefront in a section of like the motorsports community in which we probably have probably one of the higher representations, but still
Hmm.
like severely underrepresented,
Yes.
in terms of the proportion of people who take part.
All
So
right.
I really respect it.
All right. So let's talk about this track.
Mhm.
and the car. I know that you are a huge fan of NASCARs, and
Yeah.
so in your humble and expert opinion, how is this car and track matchup for this
Uh,
competition?
the current track matchup is definitely interesting. I think that nothing against either the car or the track, just the combination is a bit strange. It's really difficult, and I think that's probably to some people's advantage, some people's disadvantage.
Hmm.
I think I got lucky to put in my times, but I'm probably selling myself short.
Well, I mean, since you
Um,
brought it up, let's talk about this, right?
okay.
You right now are in second place in the overall
Yeah.
standings, and that is no easy feat. And I
Mhm.
think you do sort of sell yourself short, or maybe you're just, uh, trying to stay humble, which is respectful as well. But
Yeah.
what's the secret? You clearly you are at the top of the leaderboard, and so you have to know something. Can you give us any kind of inside strategy, inside, game?
There isn't really any secret to it. Um, just a very far rearward brake bias, being really smooth, and don't use first. Do not use first. It's second and third only. That's it. Um, but you need to be like super smooth because this right-hander that I'm going through, the car really
Hmm.
wants to understeer sometimes, and then also if you put too much power down and wants to oversteer, through here it feels really slow, but you need to take it nice and easy to actually get it through. And then here, this is something a teammate pointed out. You need to take a really nice late apex to get the power down to go through the rest of this straight section.
So
And then last,
I'll go ahead
sorry,
and
go ahead.
finish. No, 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 you finish. Go ahead.
Okay. And then just kind of through there, you just need to be brave. You need to carry as much speed as possible and get on the power as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Um, but it's a really surprisingly technical circuit, despite it being so short. I think it's probably mostly down to the car. Just that this thing probably has more power than it ought to race here.
Got it. Got it.
Um, but
Well,
it's
no, I
not
was
bad
gonna
for the track.
say, this, that you have just literally done a beautiful execution of doing a drive through of a course, and so definitely appreciate that, and
No
hopefully
problem.
it has helped someone out there. Now, with you being in second place right now, it looks like there is a pretty big opportunity for you to possibly be going to Vegas. How do you feel about
Mhm.
that? Have you ever been?
No, I've never been to Vegas. I've only ever been to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York State. So
Nice.
I've never
Got it.
been further west, if I get my cardinal directions right. Yeah, west. I've
Yes,
never
you're
been further
correct.
west than Philadelphia.
So how did what are you thinking? How does it feel to be
Um,
possibly headed to Vegas?
really exciting. Um, the prospect of going to Vegas is really interesting, and especially being able to go when NASCAR is in town and
Hmm.
going during the Pennzoil 400. Because that's kind of one of those things that I just sort of never thought I would be able to do, like go see a NASCAR race live, just because flights are expensive and then
Yeah.
accommodation, needing to rent a car, and then getting to the track, tickets, food, getting back from the track. It adds up, but very quickly be like
It sounds
probably 1.5, 2,000 euro.
Yeah, it sounds to me that that seems to be your motivation to get second, to keep second place or better is to get to
You're probably
that.
right. I think the prospects of getting to go to an Oscar race was a big motivator.
Nice. So with that though, right? So there's a lot happening. Of course, I know that you're interested in winning. Everyone who
Mhm.
enters the competition wants to win, but is there anything else that you're hoping to get out of the screen to speed experience?
Um, well, I kind of feel like just taking part, just getting to experience like sim racing
Hmm.
as a thing on this high of a level, I think that will be a really great experience for me personally, just because it would be my first time. Nothing ever really comes to Ireland, unfortunately, with regards to sim
Hmm.
racing. So this is like a prime opportunity to do so. And as well as that, I almost lost the car. As well as that, like getting to help elevate, like obviously myself, but also other women talent in the sim racing scene. Just by taking part, we'll be like really putting on a good show for
Hmm.
people and really demonstrating like the level of talent that's in this group, like especially in the group that's in the top 15
Yeah.
currently. Like, there's a lot of talented drivers.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, Even like Emily ahead of me,
Hmm.
incredible, and all of the drivers. Like there's a lot of drivers behind me as well that are just phenomenally talented racing drivers, who all deserve the limelight. At least as much as me, if not more.
I can
And
agree with that.
yeah,
All right, so screen to speed is competition like no other in that there's the opportunity to go from the screen to the track, right, and to actually
yeah.
race it in real life. Um, Not having a driver's license, I don't know if that would be an issue, but
Mhm.
what? How do you feel about possibly racing in a Porsche um, in a few weeks? I guess it'll be
Um,
a couple of months.
it would be kind of dream come true, because like for at least the last 5 years, being a racing driver has kind of been like a pie in the sky dream of
Hmm.
mine in a way. Like just that it's so expensive and like I don't have money behind me,
Yeah.
and I work full time. I don't make enough money to pay my way into motorsports. And if I were to get the opportunity to race like a real car and like show off what I could do,
Hmm.
potentially, it would be. I mean, even if it was like literally one time only, nothing ever came of it, it would still be a dream come true. To be
Nice.
completely honest,
Nice. Nice.
it would be incredible.
Nice. All right. Well, here comes my favorite segment or section,
Mhm.
which I call "What are your favorites?"
Okay.
And I'm curious to know. I know that you're, a huge NASCAR driver, but I'm curious to know outside of NASCAR. I got to put this disclaimer on there.
Mhm.
What is your favorite car to race, sim race?
Um, I don't really have a favorite car, but I have a favorite class of cars.
Okay.
Being touring cars in general, I really find I enjoy rear wheel drive cars, but I think there's something so fun about front wheel drive touring cars
Hmm.
and kind of the way that you race. It's very elbows out, kind of similar to oval racing on like short tracks in a way.
Hmm.
Um, that like the elbows out nature and kind of like how close and personal it is. It's
Yes.
really exciting, and they're just cars that I just adore driving.
Yeah.
Like almost any track, those things are a heap of fun. Um,
I
what
can
else is
definitely
there?
agree there. Now, moving from car to track, do
Mhm.
you have a favorite one of those?
A favorite track. A favorite still extant track would probably be Watkins Glen.
Okay.
It's just a really good racing track, to be honest. It's a ton of fun to race at in sim. Racing is usually always good there. Um, I don't really see what's not to love, other than the F1 doesn't go there. That's
Yeah.
kind of its
Yeah.
only downfall.
Yeah. I can agree there.
Hmm.
And then lastly, do you have a favorite setup, or by setup I mean like wheel pedal set? I know you said you started in a Logitech. I think almost every sim racer That's
Mhm.
the beginning. But do you have either a favorite wheel or a dream wheel that you one day would love to have?
Ooh, dream wheel. I mean, to be honest, I like the upgrade that I got from the Logitech was the
Uh-huh.
Thrustmaster TSPC, their load cell pedals, and then the shifter.
Okay.
So I'm sure you've seen me like reach my left hand off screen to change gears. And this is pretty great. This has gotten me to like it's helped me improve as a sim driver. Like the better feel in the wheel, the better feel in the brakes. Um, it's like it's kind of incredible just how much of a difference good kit can make.
Mm-hmm.
But I've kind of forgotten what every other manufacturer makes that's above this price point because
Got
I
it.
haven't been looking.
Well, that means it's a good thing. That means you have a
Yeah,
really great wheel. If you don't have to
I have
look.
a yeah. I do wish I had a different wheel rim. I have I don't remember what the model is called, but it's like the kind of V8 supercar shape wheel. Like it's kind of rounded and a flat top and a flat bottom.
Got it. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
wish I had a round one. Um,
Almost like
but
a rally-ish one or more of a
I mean, like just a circle kind
yeah,
of wheel. That would
gotcha.
be what I would like. Though I could always just get myself one of those, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean that's the plus thing about having a Thrustmaster. They have a pretty good ecosystem.
Hmm.
So nice. All right, so we got a few moments left, and I
Hmm.
cannot, um, you know, end this interview without talking about the Prismatic Racing team,
Yeah.
which you're a part of. Can you tell everyone a little bit about Prismatic and some of the amazing things that you all do as a team?
Yeah, of course. Prismatic, as you say, is the sim racing team that I drive for. We are a sim racing team by trans people and for trans people with the express purposes of elevating talent in our community, advocating for our position in the space and against discrimination, and to like really foster and show off the talent that we have as trans people. We do a lot of different things. Like we do oval racing. One of our members, Christina Ryan, is doing this and is also a trucks champion in championship online racing teams. She's competed in the NASCAR College Series. We've got Emily Howe. She fought for the F2R Endurance Series title solo 2 seasons ago and
Wow.
is our driver development lead. We also have, let me think for a second. Yes, we also competed in the Rocket British 4 Esports series with technically four drivers. Our two main drivers had some occasions where they couldn't make the race, so
Hmm.
I started six races
Okay.
in over 3 rounds. We had another of our members take on reserve drivership roles, as well as Mira Schmidt, who was one of our main drivers, and Azzy Ardell, who was another main driver.
Nice.
Um, and that was a really, really high level of competition. The people in that series were just unbelievably fast.
Nice. Now, have you been able to notice um, any type of change when it comes to like the work that you all are doing within the space? Are you starting to notice yeah, change?
Um, I'm not really starting to notice change because I wasn't super active in the sim racing space before joining
Okay.
Prismatic. Like I would kind of just do things on my own. I didn't really get involved with leagues or events or anything.
Hmm.
But since joining Prismatic, every time that we're in an event, like it's typically like our presence has only ever really been met with complete and total support,
Nice.
which is great. A lot of people are super open to our presence in their leagues, and really want us there, because we put on a good show. We've got a whole ton of really great drivers who like really make the races fun and really like put a good foot forward for the team and for themselves and get on with people. There was one instance where we had an issue, but we were able to, and like unfortunately we had to pull out of that league. I won't name the league, because that wouldn't be particularly professional, I don't think.
Right.
But there has been only the one occasion where in a non-official league we've encountered issues. Like obviously in official iRacing races, occasionally things happen, you know,
Right.
like words that shouldn't be said to people are said, but that's typically something that iRacing will deal with very, very strictly, which is something that I personally appreciate, and I think a lot of our drivers also appreciate, though I don't really want to speak for them as individuals. Um, yeah, but like on the whole, I think the world definitely anyway, for the most part, most people are getting a lot more accepting of trans people and tend to know more than they did like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Even honestly more than like 2 or 3 years ago, really. Acceptance and knowledge has come like a really, really long way in a very short amount of time. Even though there are some state efforts to push back against that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is sad. That is sad. But I mean, it is, great to hear that things are being addressed within
Mhm.
the leagues when they need to be, and that like you're not finding too much resistance, and so
Mhm.
you all are doing some amazing work in literally being path trailblazers and really setting the groundwork for those to come. And so it's truly appreciative of the stuff that you're doing both on and off the track.
Mhm.
So I want to wrap this up, and so as you already know, this is, yes, you're in second place. However,
Yeah.
it's just not about what you do on the track, it's also what you do off the track in terms of your engagement. And so can you tell the
Mhm.
people where can they find you if they are interested in garnering support for you?
You can find me on Twitter at FitzyFlip, and on Instagram there's a skeleton inside me. The second is a bit of a mouthful, but it should be flashing up on screen if
Yes,
I'm
it
not
is.
incorrect.
You are correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you should be able to see my socials there. So you'll mainly find me on Twitter. I'm not super active on Instagram, but I do post things every now and again, and I will be posting quite a lot, I would say, in regards to screen to speed, just
Nice.
to try and like really, really put the word out. Because my Twitter is probably, there's a lot more people to know about sim racing on my Twitter.
Okay.
So getting the word out to people that don't really know that quite as much, I think is at least as important, if not more important, just to show that like this kind of event is going on, and like getting into this space is not as hard as it might seem from the outside.
Nice. All right. So, last question as we
Hmm.
come to a close. What would you say to a little girl or young woman that wants to try sim racing? What are some encouraging words that you could leave?
I would say absolutely go for it. Um, like at the end of the day, it matters most what you really enjoy, and there will probably, I would say, very likely be detractors that will say that you shouldn't do it, or that like it's not feminine, or whatever kind of rubbish that they're going to come out with. But like at the end of the day, it only matters what you enjoy. And if you enjoy watching race cars race, watching those guys go out there and put it all on the line to put on a show, and you want to go try get a taste of that for yourself, sim racing is the closest you can get. It
Nice.
is a bit expensive, but it's so rewarding to get into communities of like-minded people that really enjoy just having a hard-fought battle to the end, till the end of the lap.
Nice. Well, Saoirse, thank you so much for taking out the time to speak to us today. And
Thank
we
you.
wish you all the best when it comes to this. And hopefully we'll see you in Vegas. And
I
for
hope so.
and for all those who are interested in wanting to know more about Screen to Speed and the competition, you can find out more at www.screentospeed.com. Again, we want to shout out and give big thanks to our sponsors, Pennzoil, Ford, iRacing, Yahoo, Kelly Moss, and of course, Init Esports. So with that being said, thank you all and have an amazing day.